Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Let's get started on Hound Trap, shall we? Well, if you've decided to finally kill some hounds, or perhaps you just got lucky and found some hound's teeth around, or maybe you traveled around to the desert and decided to finally kill some hounds in their hound mounds and get yourself some hound's teeth. Nonetheless, did you come across hound's teeth? Did you finally get some logs? Did you finally get some rope? I don't know. Anyways, once you approach your alchemy machine, you're going to be confronted with a new option, which is called none other than the tooth trap. I call them hound traps, people call them tooth traps, call them whatever you like, they're awesome. Here we go. So as you go into the actual process of getting yourself some, all you really need to do is make sure that, like I said, you have one houndstooth, one log, and one rope. And you're about to make probably one of the coolest little items in Don't Starve Together, none other than the tooth trap. So I'm going to make a bunch of these just for the sake of this video and showcase how cool these things actually work. Now, some of you might be sitting there going like, why aren't you using your resources? Because I'm in creative mode. I'm not going to lie to you. Most of my videos, I end up in creative mode because obviously end up going around and gathering all the resources end up taking way too long. So in case you're just wondering, I just like to keep these videos nice and speedy without you having to witness me walking around the constant for 5 or 10 minutes and going, okay, he could have just showcased that in about 5 seconds. But nonetheless, it would use these ingredients down here below. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my little tiny hound traps wherever I want them to be. Somewhat close together would probably be ideal. But of course, it's obviously everyone's world. You place them however you want. I have a mod called geometric placement, which is essentially letting me place these things nice and neat. If I didn't have geometric placement on, things would still be okay, and I'd probably be able to place them somewhat close together. They just wouldn't look so in line with each other. Okay, so now I got myself these awesome possum little hound traps, aka tooth traps. Let's test them out, shall we? Once you essentially have these up, you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want and basically have the enemy try to run towards you. Here's the thing though. Hound traps work, or tooth traps work in a specific way, and this is how they do it. I'm not going to take these to a boss battle and then decide to have the boss basically run over these, because that makes zero sense. Why the heck would you want to do that? For example, you're not going to bring these to the toadstool fight, although I guess you could if you really wanted. You're not going to bring this to the ancient guardian fight, although I guess you could if you really wanted. You're going to make this setup for obviously things like hound waves that attack you, frogs, stuff like that. Essentially things that are going to come running after you, so that way you don't have to necessarily worry about them when they finally decide to attack. One of the biggest things that I like to do is setting up a tooth trap area where essentially is going to be your little tiny, I would like to call it, battle arena, which is outside of your base. Keep in mind, and Don't Starve Together, beargers, deerclops, things like that decide to attack you periodically across outside of the year, so you want to make sure that you have a little zone outside of your base where you can fight these things, and none other than tooth traps are the best thing to set up in that area. So let's just go ahead and imagine that we're getting attacked by a bunch of hounds, shall we? So I'm going to spawn them in for this video specifically, and let's just see how well these do. Let's go with 3 hounds, shall we? As I spawn in the hounds, I'm not going to do absolutely anything but run around the hound traps. Let my little tooth traps do their work as the hounds decide to run after me and decide to die or attack. And there you go. One hound is already down. Keep running back and forth. Come on over here. Keep running. Come on. Come through my little tooth traps. That one's dead. And now we got one more. Come on. It's like trying to decide if it wants to die or not, or if it wants to run over these last few. And we got one more in there. Should take care of it. Of course, I'd probably suggest doing this while you're wearing armor, but you know, for the sake of this video, I want to make sure that you're able to see this. Come on. There we go. Okay. So 3 hounds basically died to the amount of hound traps that I have here, which looks to be around 12, if I had to guess. Yeah, I think it's 12. So yeah, you can kind of see the effects that these have on said hounds. Now, in resetting them, you basically just hold spacebar, and your character will essentially reset them as they go along, each individual one of them, making it look nice and neat, just like it was before. Nonetheless, you are also getting more hound's teeth, because as the hounds currently died on this, you're also now going to be able to make more and more and more as time goes, and essentially making this pretty large, so anything that runs over it will eventually die in a few hits. Keep in mind, things like tree guards and big bosses are going to obviously make all the traps kind of activate, as they're only doing 60 damage a piece. It's not enough to really kill a boss in a split second, but it does take a big chunk out of it. So, you know, obviously decide if you want to use it for that or not. But I just thought I'd showcase these because I think they're really useful, and a lot of people like using them, but a lot of people don't like using them too. But just make sure that if you are about to get attacked by something, try to equip yourself some armor. You don't know when things are about to go a little bit south. In this case, I didn't have any armor on. I still survived, and I only lost around 40 HP. So it's kind of a good trade-off, honestly. But nonetheless, always try to make sure that you have some armor on. And there you go. There's the tooth traps, aka what I like to call hound traps. But, you know, like I said, go out there, experiment, do whatever you want with them, and have a fun time. You can also use them for basically bringing frogs in there and getting attacked and killed. But you do what you want to do. I will see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching.